I've been abandoned by the dog and now I can film. This has just been the weirdest morning. Hello everybody, my name is Rachel and it is time for another weekly wrap up. I don't even know what day it is. I think it's the 27th. I think it's the 27th, but it's some day at the end of December. If you celebrate Christmas, I hope you had a wonderful holiday, and if you don't celebrate Christmas, I hope you had a wonderful week doing whatever you do. I had a good Christmas. It's been incredibly lazy here in Rachel's house. I slept in until almost 10 o'clock this morning and I was like, oh crap, I need to film. And then I was attacked by a cuddle monkey who didn't want me to film, I guess. So let's get into it. I read 4 things this past week and I may or may not speak intelligently about some of them. The first thing that I finished was Manners and Mutiny by Gail Carriger. This is the 4th and final book in her Finishing School series, which is like not exactly a prequel series, but it is a YA series set like 20 years before her Parasol Protectorate series. The premise of the Finishing School series is that this teenage girl named Sophronia is sent to a finishing school where she's gonna learn to be a lady and be finished and then go out into society. The twist is that the finishing school is actually on a floating dirigible, and not only do the young ladies learn how to do the things they need to do, they also learn how to finish. It's kind of a school for women to become spies or intelligencers. They call them intelligencers. And Sophronia she's very skilled at these things, and the 4 books are her 4 years at the school as she goes on adventures. And the main plot is that this group of people called the Picklemen want to try to take over Britain or something, and in the final book you have the showdown with the Picklemen and defending the dirigible. I love the characters. Some of the best characters that Carriger has created are in this series. Sophronia is a fantastic heroine. She is flawed, she has weaknesses, but she's also very well-rounded. She has many admirable qualities, and I think the most important thing for me about the series is that it is light and fun and ridiculous, but also has fantastic friendships in it, and I would recommend it just for that. If you're tired of reading books where everybody's sniping at each other and everybody's turning on each other, this will warm your heart. The second thing that I finished this week was the audiobook of David Sedaris' When You Are Engulfed in Flames. This is the 3rd or 4th collection by him that I think I've read, and the second one that I've listened to on audiobook, and I've decided that I find his work to be a lot more interesting and humorous when I'm hearing him narrate it. I didn't think that When You Are Engulfed in Flames was as good as the one I listened to prior to this. I can't remember what the previous collection was called, but I laughed out loud while listening to that, and I thought that I would really find this one humorous, and it was. I don't know, maybe I wasn't quite in the mood for it. I find it very hard to review and talk about funny things because I do not have the best sense of humor, or rather, I do not find many things to be funny, and if I do find it to be funny, I'm not sure I can explain why. This is confusing, but I'm not exaggerating. The family joke is that I had my sense of humor surgically removed at birth, and I can't even argue with this. It seems really true. I am that terrible person who asks for all jokes to be explained to me, which just kills everybody else. So, I guess my opinion is this was entertaining to listen to, and I did not think it was the best thing I've listened to by Sedaris. The one thing is I'm not quite sure how seriously to take the stories that Sedaris tells, because I feel like he does have a very unusual life and weird things happen to him, but I also think that he probably exaggerates for comic effect and to get a point across. That I think that's just sort of a given in his type of writing. But sometimes I'm just like, you were oversharing a little bit. And that's also what makes it funny. Is it funny because he's oversharing? I don't know. I'm sorry if there's a lot of glare. I'm trying to figure out these softbox lights, and yeah, bear with me, I'll figure it out. The next thing that I finished was King's Shield by Sherwood Smith. This is the 3rd book in the fantasy series Inda, and okay, I'm going to kind of recap the first 2 books and this might be spoilery for people who want to know absolutely nothing about the series, so maybe skip ahead a little bit if you don't want to know. This series follows a boy, later a man, named Inda. He is the second son in a noble family, and traditionally the second sons are not sent off for military academy. They are kept at home, and their older brothers, the first sons, receive military training, and then the second sons stay home to defend the castle for their older brothers. But at the beginning of the series, the Marlovan Empire, where all of this is set, is expecting a war with the Ven, and all of the second sons, the Tvei's, are called up to go to military academy. So Inda, who should never have gone, does go to military academy. He gets involved, unfortunately, with a lot of the political scheming going on in the kingdom. Due to the people he knows and some events that happen, he is framed for the death of one of his academy schoolmates and is sent into exile as a 10 or 11-year-old. This event, Inda being framed and then exiled, sets the tone for the entire series. It is both a symbol of the political problems, but also a catalyst for not only Inda's storyline throughout all the books, but also for all of his friends from military academy who have to live with the after effects and the mystery of what happened to Inda. So that's the first book. The second book follows 8 to 10 years of Inda's exile. He is sent off to be at sea. He kind of becomes a pirate, and then in this third book he finally returns home. He returns from his exile when he discovers that he can help the Marlovan Empire with the invasion of the Ven, and when he comes back, lots of dramatic stuff happens, lots of emotional things happen, and then he is asked by his friend Everett, the second son of the king, who is now king himself, to be his king's shield, to be his Harskjaldna, and lead the campaign against the Ven invasion. What King's Shield has solidified for me in this series is that I am reading this for the characters. I'm reading it for character development and their relationships. There are a lot of emotional highs and lows and struggles throughout this series, and many of them in this book. I am not reading this for the military stuff. I'm not reading it necessarily for the overall plot of fighting off invasions. And I'm not reading this at all for the writing. I don't think this is exceptionally well written. I think it is a bit clunky and definitely bloated in some places. Pretty much all of the stuff from the perspective of the Ven from the second book and the third book could be cut. So yes, despite what I think are its flaws and that it could probably be a bit shorter, not such a doorstopper of a book, this was good. I blazed through it very quickly, and I would just recommend this for the characters. The fourth and final thing that I finished this week was Max Gladstone's Full Fathom 5. This is the third book in his craft sequence, which part of the back of this describes it as a fantasy legal thriller, and I think that's a very apt description for this series. The magic systems seem to be very much based on law and contracts. It's very interesting. It's also kind of like alternative magical history of our world. This book is set in the alternate version of Hawaii. It also has a transgender main character, and all of the primary characters are women, which just solidifies what I'm saying about the series just being magnificently diverse and done in a really great way that is not in your face. It's just very matter of fact. This is how the world is, not a big deal. We're just gonna mention that the main character is transgender. It's gonna come up a few times, and it's like, it just is. And I'm like, yes! Thank you! The story of this is that Kai, a priestess of the idols of Kavakana, tries to save an idol that is scheduled to die. It's her friend's idol at the firm where they work, and due to bad business agreements, risk, contracts failing or whatever, the idol is going to die. Kai thinks she can save it. She tries to, she's kept from saving it. It speaks to her, and then it dies. And then while she's recovering, just this keeps unraveling further. She realizes there's something very wrong going on. The idols aren't gods. They're not supposed to be alive. They're not sentient. They're not supposed to be able to speak. So the fact that she thinks that she heard the idol speaking to her tells her that something is up, but everyone is telling her that she's crazy instead, and she's trying to prove she's not crazy by explaining how this idol could have spoken to her. I very much enjoyed this. I think it's very well written. I think that the plot mixed with how the magic systems are built and the world building is just really refreshing to read. Once you've read a whole bunch of fantasy books that are all about big wars and fighting the great evil, and then you have the series like this, which is so much more about everyday life in a magical world. I mean, people who work in risk assessment, not people who are going out on the battlefield and killing tons of people. It's just very interesting and a nice change of pace, I think. So I highly enjoyed this, and I think it is the best book in the series so far. I like the first 2 books, but this is the first book in the series that I've given 4 stars. That is everything that I read this past week. I'm gonna end here. This is gonna be such a terrible video to edit because I keep screwing up and giggling constantly, but I think I need to go eat something. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a fantastic week. I'll be back hopefully with a couple of favorites of 2015 videos in this next week, and until then, bye. She took over my seat, and then she took over my lap. She's being very adorable. This may have to wait.